Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? Day two. You guys will see I have some notes that I put in here because I started doing it. Um, so our opening exercise asks us what is the whole unit in each scenario. So when we think about this, right, like the percent is obviously not a whole, right? It's a part of it. And then we have a number that's our percentage, right? Like if I said 50% of a class of 10 students, well, we know 50% is 5 students, right? Pretty simple one. But we know 50% is our percentage. We know 5 is our part and 10 is our whole. So looking at these, they're trying to ask us, what is the whole unit here? So 15 is what percent of 90? We don't have to solve the problem here. They're just saying, what's the whole here? Is 15 the whole or is 90 the whole? And when we think about that, right, what would be the whole? Well, obviously 90, right? 15, the whole is definitely going to be bigger than the part. So 90 is our whole. Pretty simple. Okay. In the next one, it says, what number is 10% of 56? So this one's pretty simple. Is it the number or is it 56? Well, what number is 10%? So they're saying that number is 10% of 56. Is that going to be bigger or smaller? You are correct, Mr. Vance. It is smaller. So 56 is our whole. 90% of a number is 180. So I want you to think about this. They're telling us 90% of the number is 180. So I have this number, and 90% of it is 180. So the percentage is 180. So what's the whole? It's the number, right? So we'll just make it a variable. We'll just say it's X, right? A bag of candy contains 300 pieces, and 25% of the pieces are red. Well, what's the whole here? Obviously, the 300 pieces of candy that I'm going to eat. And then here, 70% of the students earned a B on the test. So what's the whole here? Well, it's the whole class, right? It's not the 70% that earned a B, right? What about the kids that earned an A? Which is all of you guys. So all students. Tell you what, I will tell you guys, virtual learning, everyone in this classroom thinks my jokes are funny. The last one is 20 girls in the class represented 55% of the students in the class. So do you think those 20 girls represented the whole thing? Absolutely not. They're just 55% of it. The whole is all the students. So that looks a lot harder. So this one, it says read each problem and complete the table to record what you know. Okay? I'm going to let you guys go on this. I want you guys to find the part, the percentage, and then the whole. I'm going to do it as you guys are doing it right now. So pause this and we'll go. So I'm hoping you got to here. In the first one, 40%. It tells us the percentage. Bingo, 40%. On the field trip, love the museum. If there are 20 students on the field trip, so that means our whole is 20. Simple enough. 40% of the students on the field trip. Again, 40%. If 20 students love the museum, how many are on the field trip? So here we know that's if 20 students love the museum. Is that all the students? No, that's our 40%. So that's a part. The last one, it says 20 students on the field trip love the museum. So that's part of them. If there are 40 students on the trip, what percentage love the museum? So here we know when we solve these problems, we do. This is our equation, right? The whole times percentage equals part. Now remember, we have to change our percentage into a decimal. So what is 40% as a decimal? Well, we move it over twice. Boom, boom. It's actually 4/10. So here we know that we're going to do 20 for the top one, number one, or the first problem, I guess it's not number one. We're going to do 20 times 0.4. 20 times 4/10 is equal to 8. So we know that 8 students love the trip. Yeah, can't make them all happy, if you know what I'm saying. This next one is, our part is 20, right? So we know that 0.4 times our whole, which we don't know, so we make it a variable, x is equal to 20. Again, we're looking at this problem right here, folks. So again, right, we don't know our whole, so our whole is x. 40% is 4/10, 0.4. That's going to equal 20. So I'm going to divide by 4/10 on both sides. Now, again, to make this simple, quick, I don't need a calculator. I'm going to change this. I'm going to times it by 10/10. So I have 200 divided by 4. Everyone see what I did there? Again, if you have a calculator, quick and easy. If you don't, this is a great way. You should all have a calculator. You can use your computer. Google's a great calculator. So 200 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so our answer is 50. So I put that up in my whole, right? If, again, so 40%, we have 20 and 50. Pretty simple. We'll keep moving. So here we have 20 students on the field trip love the museum. There are 40 students. So we have a whole and a part, and our percentage is the x. So I know that 40 times x equals 20. Right? Our whole times our percentage, which is our variable we don't know, we're going to find out, equals our part. So I divide 40 on both sides, which gives me a half, or 5/10. Now, again, is 5/10 a percentage? No, Mr. Benoit. So we have to move the decimal twice or times it by 100 to turn it into a percentage. So 5/10 times 100 is 50, and that is our percentage, 50% of students. And I hope that makes sense if you think about it. Like 50% is half, right? Half of 40 is 20. So yes, we're timesing 40 by 5/10, but again, as a percentage, it's 50%. All right, you guys know the drill here. I'm going to do example 1 for you right now. You're going to do exercise 1 for me. And then I'll go over exercise 1 real quick. So example 1 says, in Ty's math class, 20% of students earned an A on the test. If there were 30 students in the class, how many got an A? So we know, again, our whole times the percentage equals part. And again, we have to change that percentage into a decimal. So we know 20%. 20%. As a decimal, we move it back 2 places. 1, 2 is 2/10. So do we know the whole or the part? 20% of the students earned an A on the test. If there were 30 students in the class, so is 30 the part or the whole? Well, it's the whole class. So obviously it's the whole. So we have 30 times 2/10. 30 times 2 is 60. Add the decimal in, and we know we have 6. So 6 students got an A in the test. So down here, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to go slowly. In Ty's art class, 12% of the Flag Day art projects received a perfect score. There were 25 art projects turned in by Ty's class. How many of the art projects earned a perfect score? Identify the whole. So it kind of tells you you're trying to find the whole. Good luck. I will show the work here soon. All right, I'm hoping some of you got this. Again, A-OK to use a calculator, but I know 25 times 4. Oh, let me start by this. It was 12%, right? So I moved my decimal place. I moved it back 2 places to get the decimal, which is 12 hundredths. And again, think about it. 12 out of 100. That's 12%. So 25 times 12 hundredths. I know 25 times 12 is 300 because 25 times 4 is 100. And 12 is 4 times 3. So I have 300, but I have to remember I have 2 decimal places. So my answer is 3. 3 students got a perfect score. Example 2. In Ty's English class, 70% of the students completed an essay by the due date. Huh, that sounds like 7th graders doing their homework. There are 30 students in Ty's English class. How many completed the essay by the due date? So, we know the whole. You're going to hear me say this a whole heck of a lot. I'm so funny. I forgot to laugh. Whole times percentage equals part. So I know my percentage is 70%. As a decimal, that is 7/10. 0.7. Okay? So in Ty's English class, 70% of the students completed an essay by the due date. There are 30 students in Ty's English class. That tells me that's the whole. So I have 30 students. So here, I'm going to do, to get my part, I'm going to do 30 times 7 and then add a decimal place. 30 times 7 is 210. And I know that I add my decimal place, 1 decimal place. So my answer is 21 students passed it in. I'm sure some of you find this to be super easy, and that's great. But again, just want to go through the video. And again, if you have questions, please contact me. Okay? I want you guys to try example 3 now on your own. Give it a shot. All right, so let's reread the question. A bag of candy contains 300 pieces, of which 28% are red. How many pieces are red? Which quantity represents the whole? Obviously, 300 is the whole. Which of the terms in the percent question, so which term in the question is not known? Well, we know the percentage, so what are we trying to find? How many pieces are red? Red pieces. Define a letter, a variable, to represent it. I like to use X. You guys know me. Could you use R? Sure. Could you use W? Sure. Don't care. Write an expression using the percent and the whole to represent the number of pieces of red candy. So we know we do whole times percent equals part. Again, my percent, does it look like a percent here? No. It looks like awful handwriting. Yes, I know. 28% as a decimal is 28 hundredths. So I do 300 times 28 hundredths, and I get X equals 84. I want to give you guys some work to do. So do exercise 2. If you have questions, ask me. Do example 4. Do example 5. I'm really confident you guys can do this on your own. And if you can't, I want you to meet with me. After that, you guys will do your exit ticket, which will be posted there on Google Classroom, as well as the homework helpers, just as a good hint, and the problem set. Again, the big thing about this lesson is to remember our whole times our percentage is equal to our part. And we can plug those in and then solve. And then to remember to turn your percentage back into a decimal when you're solving. All right? Good luck, everyone. I hope you miss me as much as I miss you. As much as all my jokes are funny in this classroom, I'm missing you guys like crazy.